You want answers?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
You want answers?
You have offended my family.
I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth.
And you have offended the Shaolin Temple.
You can't handle the truth.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Radical Rant.
Well, folks, if you're like me, you watch some television from time to time, and whether you're into sitcoms or not, you can't help but notice the show 2.5 Men. It's on syndication now, and it's been the #1 show on network TV for quite a long time now. And, of course, the star of the show is Charlie Sheen. And if you've been following any of the tabloids, you've realized that he's recently gone to rehab. His most recent adventure is he found himself with severe stomach and hernia pain after a night of partying with 5 hookers and what was described as a briefcase full of cocaine. A briefcase full of cocaine. Because, you know, if Charlie Sheen had been wandering around with a briefcase, you know, you would think he's off to the office or something, right? And Charlie Sheen's not the only one. We've got other cases of athletes and superstars here who have exhibited some horrendous behavior and still managed to be able to keep their jobs. Of course, in the NFL, we've got the Super Bowl taking place with Ben Roethlisberger, the quarterback, who's had not one but 2 separate young women level allegations of all sorts of sexual impropriety. Now, again, you know, it's the case where some people might try to take advantage of a man's fame and fortune, but on the other hand, you know, if there's smoke, sometimes there's fire. So there's that situation, yet he's allowed to be the starting quarterback in the Super Bowl. Mike Vick, the convicted dog murderer and torturer, the man who used to electrocute dogs and have dogs on rape stands and such, he's allowed to come back to the NFL and pursue his career. And of course, the poster boy for the partying side of things, it would be Robert Downey Jr. for his numerous times where he's waking up in other people's homes after benders, and yet he's allowed to continue to be a money-making Hollywood actor. And in each one of these cases, specifically with the case of Charlie Sheen here in 2.5 Men, the executives at CBS don't seem that concerned about his partying lifestyle because in their terms, he does his job. He comes to work, he does his job. 2.5 Men's a #1 show. What else could you ask of the highest paid actor in television? The show continues to be a hit. The public doesn't seem to have a problem with what Charlie Sheen does in his off hours, so long as the show is still funny. Which brings me to the marijuana angle on this. Why does Charlie Sheen get to keep his job while thousands, millions of us out there who fail drug tests for marijuana in the workplace have to lose ours? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you really think about it. Most of us are out there doing our jobs, having no problems with productivity, getting reviews that are as good or better than our coworkers. But because we may have smoked a joint last week and we fail a randomly picked drug test, we have to lose our jobs, lose our careers, and in this times when jobs are so hard to come about, lose possibly our homes because of marijuana on a P-test. Charlie Sheen can snort all the coke he likes and hire all the hookers he wants, and so long as 2.5 Men continues to make money for CBS, it's not a problem. But in the corporate workplace, in the general workplace, you and me, if we smoke marijuana in our off time, even if we're legal, legitimate, registered patients in some states, we can be fired, we can be kicked out of our houses, even if we're doing our jobs just as well or better than the people next to us. It's why I'm here. The reason I started this career at Normal was I was being promoted to go to a job that I'd already been doing as a contractor for 2 years, had already received numerous great reviews on, but because the contents of the chemistry of my body was denied having that job. Again, the idiocy of drug testing in this world and the hypocrisy where we let our role models, our superstars, continue to get away with not just the partying behavior of Robert Downey Jr. and Charlie Sheen, but the barbaric behavior of Mike Vick and the questionable behavior of Ben Roethlisberger. They continue to get away with it because they're rich and because their jobs have tons more money on the line than ours. It's time we get our equal rights. It's time we get the same respect as beer drinkers in the workplace and not be penalized for how we choose to relax on the weekends. I'm Radical Russ. Thanks for joining us for the show. It was a good time. Stick around for Hour 2, Toker Talk Radio. We got some more stories. We'll talk about fake Gary Busey, and we'll be right back. And for those of you listening on the podcast, take care of each other, Tokers.
This is Normal Show Live.
the voice of the Marijuana Nation.
Take it on one more time. You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it,